Why are we funding this? Why is my tax money, $30 billion to date, went to Israel to buy 2,000 pounds bombs and F-35s to dump Palestinians? Why is your tax money, Piers, is going to the British government to finance this? If Israel wants to defend itself, let it defend itself by itself, not with my money. And also, like, this is like a country it's bragging that this lobby is buying off politicians in America. APAC is bragging about 80% of Congress being paid by them.
In this video, Bassem Youssef goes off on Piers Morgan over this heated pro-Israel debate. And right from the start, Bassem doesn't hold back. He's pissed, and honestly, you can really feel it. He calls out the billions of US tax dollars sent to fund bombs and F-35s for Israel, asking why the hell American and British citizens are paying for all this. Like, if Israel wants to fight a war, why should regular people be footing the bill? And then he goes in, dragging APAC, exposing how they brag about owning most of Congress, and calling out the silence that follows when it's Israel doing the lobbying. So make sure to watch till the end to see how Bassem Youssef goes off on Piers Morgan over this heated pro-Israel debate.
If one politician in the EU, in Britain, in America was paid with bribe by Russian money, oh my God, you're going to have 6 month wall-to-war coverage, foreign interference, democracy, imperial corruption. But with Israel, crickets, complete radio silence. And now I brought this, by the way, many times, and it was just like you flow over it because this is the real question, right? Because you would spend 3 hours talking about if this is a proportionate response, but we'll not talk about 3 minutes. Why is my money? Why is hurricane relief funds in Carolina, in America, are going to fund Israel? Also, like, I don't understand the relationship between America and Israel. It's like it's the most effed up situation ever. We're like the world's most pathetic sugar daddy. We give them billions of dollars and they shit on us. Like Mr. Jonathan said, now we're ganging on them. We're not helpful. Dude, we gave you $30 billion to bomb children and it's not enough for you. Like, I mean, at least when you pay a dominatrix, you know that you're getting fucked. But this is just America having a public humiliation king while getting fucked, and they call this foreign policy. They are arresting American students on American soils for protesting Israeli war crimes. What the hell, man? This is like your crack whore making you beat your children for calling her what she is, a whore. And this is what really boggles me in America. The right and the left, they fight each other tooth and nail over gun control, education, minorities' rights, healthcare, DEI. But when it comes to Israel, everybody competes to be Israel's favorite bitch. Republicans hate handouts unless it's for Israel. And Democrats, they love human rights unless it's for the Palestinians. I mean, this is a Delulu state. You guys are Delulu. You are Delulu. Like, I came here today to witness for myself how someone can lie so shamelessly. The guy is like a human pinball machine. Every question lies on him, ends on Hamas. Is like a magic 8 ball with one answer. Hamas. Yani, at least flat earthers, they make things interesting. You guys are boring. You are like the same thing. I left all of this. I left the media because of this. I come back. It's a freaking Groundhog Day. Every day, the same question, the same thing. Dude, nobody believes you. You are liars.
Okay.
Nobody believes you.
Okay, so Bassem just lets it rip here. He makes a brutal point that if a single Western politician was caught taking Russian money, there'd be wall-to-wall coverage about foreign interference. But when it's Israel, just total silence. Like, that double standard is wild. And what's even more infuriating is how he exposes how hurricane relief money, actual aid for Americans, is somehow ending up in Israel's war budget. And then comes the part that just hits different. Bassem calls out the entire US-Israel dynamic for what it is. A pathetic sugar daddy relationship. Billions sent with no strings attached, only to get disrespected and blamed when Israel doesn't get its way. And the way he flips the dominatrix metaphor, like, yeah, that might sound intense, but the point stands. America is just pouring money into a government accused of bombing kids. And when students protest that, they get arrested on US soil. That's insane. And the kicker? He calls out both Republicans and Democrats for their hypocrisy. Republicans rail against handouts, unless it's for Israel. Democrats claim to love human rights, unless it's Palestinians dying. It's all just exposed here. No spin, no polish, just raw truth.
Okay, let me just say, well, since you haven't been on media for a while, Bassem, you probably would have noticed that I've become quite unpopular actually with the pro-Israeli lobby because I've been increasingly critical of Netanyahu and his government and believe
Yeah,
they have.
because if you're not your doormat, if
That's
you're not
not
treated like,
entirely
yeah,
accurate,
they
Piers.
will not do it. Yeah.
Well, okay, but
It doesn't enough for
Piers,
them.
all
that's
right,
not
but that's
entirely
just
accurate.
you may have missed that. But Jonathan Conricus, your response to what Bassem Youssef said.
Well, I could choose to respond to many things. I could respond to your foul language. I could respond to how low you speak. I could respond to your nonsense rhetoric. And basically, I think it shows that you've been out of the business for a while because you're repeating, regurgitating a lot of stuff that's really old. I think you should update your poison. You should get an updated version of the talking points against Israel. All of the things you said they're quite low level. They're not very impressive. I've heard it a million times and it's quite childish. It's interesting for me to hear that from an Egyptian. Last time I checked, Egypt is the second largest beneficiary of American money. And if you reportedly really care about your tax money, then have you asked yourself why the US is providing so much money to Egypt and what the US gets in return? And what I would like to know is why is the Arab Egyptian Republic refusing to receive refugees, their Arab Muslim brothers from Gaza, and why are they so inhumane and cruel and preventing poor Gazans from escaping a war zone? Last time I checked, the only war where civilians have been prevented from leaving, escaping, fleeing a battlefield is this war. I cannot remember, and maybe you as a comedian can think of another war where civilians were prevented from a neighboring non-hostile state to flee the war. I cannot remember any such thing. And I think that the country where you come from has a lot to answer from. I know that you're more confident in bashing Israel and talking conspiracy theories and AIPAC this and that and all of the other nonsense that you regurgitated. But let's talk about Egypt. Let's talk about their responsibility. Let's talk about US funds to Egypt. Let's talk about their cruelty. Let's talk about how they have prevented humanitarian access to Gaza. Let's talk about the fact that they have built the world's biggest wall that dwarfs the Chinese wall and all Israeli security walls between Gaza and Egypt. Why did they do that? Out of Muslim compassion? Out of care for humanitarian rights of their Arab brothers? No. Because they want the poor Gazans in, and because they know that programs like this one and other programs will support Hamas propaganda and will blame Israel for what's happening, when in fact Gazans should have been evacuated out of Gaza in the second or third week of the war. We would have defeated Hamas quickly and with far fewer
all right, but just to be clear, Jonathan,
casualties.
Just to be clear, programs like this one, hosted by me, which is the point you're making, I think, I'm afraid, I take exception to a 3-month policy of starvation of a populace that's been relentlessly bombarded that includes so many children. That's my problem. And I think that the war aims, the stated war aims of Israel at the start of this, which was to eliminate Hamas, and to get the hostages released, neither of those things have happened. All that's happening is more and more civilians are getting killed in the process of going after the Hamas terrorists. And you've taken also, as a government, to starving already impoverished children. And I just find that unconscionable.
So Piers tries to step in here with this whole I'm unpopular with the pro-Israel lobby now claim. And come on, Bassem just immediately brushes it off. Because let's be real, being mildly critical of Netanyahu after months of damage doesn't suddenly mean Piers is neutral. The fact that he even feels the need to preemptively defend himself says a lot. Then Jonathan jumps in, and this is where things just get plain desperate. He doesn't even engage with Bassem's actual points. Instead, he just goes straight for personal attacks, calling Bassem's arguments childish or saying he's outdated, mocking him for being Egyptian. Dude, that's not a rebuttal. That's just ego defense. And his pivot to Egypt, just a total dodge. He brings up Egypt's war with Gaza as if that somehow erases what Israel's been doing. That's not accountability, that's deflection. Meanwhile, Piers finally starts pushing back a bit, calling out the starvation of civilians and the fact that none of Israel's stated war goals have been achieved, which, okay, credit where it's due, but again, that doesn't erase how long he let this kind of one-sided framing slide on his show. You can't be the tough interviewer only after the PR tide turns.
As indeed, by the way, do two former Israeli prime ministers who've gone on record as saying that. And there was a very powerful piece by a Jewish writer, Thomas Friedman, in today's New York Times, saying Israelis, diaspora Jewry, and friends of Israel everywhere need to understand that the way Israel is fighting the war in Gaza today is laying the groundwork for a fundamental recasting of how Israel and Jews will be seen the world over. And he doesn't mean in a good way. He means in a very bad and serious and potentially dangerous way. So yeah, this program has evolved.
Thomas,
it does
Thomas
stand
has
for
been
that.
Campaigning.
Well, I'm going to go to Bassem for his response. But since you brought that up about this program
Piers,
and what it
level
represents,
10 allegations against me,
that is what
I don't get to respond.
Okay, well, I'm going to let Bassem respond, but that is my response to what you said. So Bassem.
So let's.
Well,
let's
I didn't, finish making a coherent sentence.
Well, let Bassem finish first.
But okay, by all means.
So I didn't interrupt you. All right? You asked me about Egypt, I'll answer you about Egypt.
You didn't,
Egypt
and I appreciate
takes
that.
1/3 of the aid that Israel receives, while Egypt have 10 times the population. Egypt never received $30 billion to murder children and bomb hospitals. Egypt was never allowed to have the privilege of having more than 58 vetoes in the Security Council, right? And also, why doesn't Egypt take Palestinians? This is like someone going into Fifth Avenue, shooting someone in the face, and it's like, why do the neighbors don't bury the body? You're the guys doing the killing, not Egypt. So stop talking about Egypt. Anyways, and I would like to, like Jonathan and his likes, to please stop Zionizing us. Stop the Zionizing. Zionizing, it's a verb, which means to gaslight someone with such shameless, narcissistic, psychopathic audacity that you deny reality to their faces while simultaneously playing the victim, engaging in endless circle debates that go nowhere and displaying a complete loss of empathy and basic humanity. Right? Remember, Piers, why the first video went viral? Because I called Israel a narcissistic, psychopathic behavior that fucks you over and then makes you think it's your fault. Because this is what Israel does. It didn't happen. And if it did, you're remembering it wrong. And if you're not, it's your fault because you're looking into my phone. Narcissists lived in their own made-up reality. They don't share your reality. They live in their own custom-made universe where facts are negotiable and truth is whatever serves them in the moment. And when it comes back and when you corner them, they throw tantrums, accusation, Hamas, anti-Semitism, full victimhood mood. And it's pointless to debate with them, right? Because take him, for example, and the likes of him. You show them a video, it didn't happen. You show them UN reports, these are lies. You mention international law, it's complicated. You get testimonies on the ground from doctors and nurses at Hamas propaganda. We saw it with our own eyes. Your optic nerve is anti-Semitic. Like Israel is like Shaggy. We saw you won the hospital. It wasn't me. We saw you killed the children. It wasn't me. Dude, your war crimes are documented. Hamas propaganda. Also, it wasn't me. There is no point of debating gaslighters. We have 4K videos, satellite imagery, and your own soldiers posting on TikTok bragging about killing children. But of course, yeah, the entire planet is having a mass hallucination, right? This is like Israel has the same credibility as a Ponzi scheme. Right. This is what I'll give you an example how Delulu is Israel. Right. Israel calls itself. I mean, he was in the IDF and he tell you the most moral army in the world. Also, they call themselves the most vegan army in the world. So Jonathan here is representing an organization that is both vegan and genocidal. Yani we will not eat chicken, but inshallah we will bomb a hospital and barbecue it. Do you see how fucked up is this? This is like calling Jeffrey Dahmer the most vegetarian serial killer in history. Right.
Okay.
And this is but one more thing. Does any army in the world call itself moral? This is another trait of narcissistic psychopathic behavior because they project to the world the exact opposite of who they are. If they lie, they brag about being honest. If they cheat, they brag about being faithful. And if they are cheap, they brag about being generous. And if they are criminal, genocidal, they brag about being moral, the most moral.
And wrapping this up, Bassem doesn't just argue, he tears through the entire facade. He calls out how people like Jonathan weaponize language, duck accountability, and hide behind shallow moral claims. And when Piers tries to pivot with a Thomas Friedman quote, it's like, okay, but where was that energy when it actually mattered? Saying the right thing after the damage is done doesn't erase complicity. And that's what makes this so infuriating. Every time someone starts making real points, the conversation just shifts. Jonathan dodges, Piers softens the blow, and suddenly the issue isn't war crimes, it's Egypt's wall or tone policing. That's not dialogue, that's just deflection dressed up as balance. It's a cycle powered by selective outrage. And honestly, that kind of dynamic doesn't just reveal bias, it runs it. And speaking of bias, are you getting tired of getting news from biased news sources? One outlet says one thing and another says the complete opposite? How are you supposed to know what's actually true? That's where ground news comes in. It lets you compare how different media outlets, whether it's left, right, or center, are covering the same story. So you can see the full picture instead of just the echo chamber. And here's the best part. Click the link in the description and get a 40% off the Vantage tier, which gives you even deeper insights in media bias and political trends. So stay informed, think for yourself, and check out ground news in the description down below.